One of the things that concerns people about a state-owned mining company is that the state-owned mining company is going to have an advantage over private sector companies.
There's no intention of creating a state-owned mining company which will be privileged. People think that there'll be just be a process of granting them rights without the due process. We can't accept. If they're not compliant, we're going to refuse or reject them like any other private sector companies. The state decided on doing this because we felt that we need a state-owned mining companies to identify strategic minerals. Part of the challenge we had when we had the load shedding, it was because the rest and the bulk of the coal in South Africa was locked on long-term contracts externally. So we also have to consider that particular aspect. We have an energy crisis because of some of those gaps. So we're closing on the gaps. We are saying if we had more of consumption from the South African side, then I don't think we would have suffered. Would have experienced load shedding. So we're addressing those issues and making sure that the state plays a strategic, it's business, commercial, but strategic participation in the mining sector. What is key, it's keeping to the principles of commercial and business.
With the mining company as it is in energy, it's in coal and uranium. Is that the way it's going to stay?
We need energy, then we're dependent on other sources, because we must bear in mind, when we say we need energy as a country, we don't need energy for the state-owned mining company. We need energy to grow the economy of South Africa. That's where we are going. As government, we have a responsibility to provide energy. If you look at the challenge we've had, one of the issues, if we had to miss the boom currently, would be the energy again. And because the private sector says, government, we want to invest, give us energy. What are you doing about that? So we also have an obligation to allow an environment which is conducive for the private sector, because if we don't do that, then we'll have a problem. Hence the role of the state-owned mining company, because we can't go to a private sector company. They've got long-term commitments, and we also don't want to disrupt investments into and out of South Africa.
Will that company also pay tax?
Well, they'll have to follow. If you look at Petro SA, if you look at all other state-owned mining entities, they pay tax. How do they get exempted? They cannot be exempted. They'll have to play a role. They'll have to contribute in paying tax. If you look at Alexco, one of their major challenges currently, they haven't been paying tax. They haven't been exempted. They'll have to pay tax. Competitiveness is key, because we operate within the space of the global environment. Hence, we cannot allow to falter in any way. We have to be competitive. We have to make sure we respond to the challenges globally, but also we have to make sure that our product is sellable globally. That's why we think competitiveness is important, because when you talk about commodities, you're not talking about commodities in South Africa. You're talking about commodities globally.